A former Saint is also heading overseas. Forward Mike Nolan made the move to the French Alps to play hockey for the France 3 team, the Penguins. He completed his CSS hockey career as a senior last season, scoring 10 goals with 16 assists across 84 games played.
I think that at the end of the day, it comes down to preparation, work ethic, and making sure that you're a good person on and off the ice. But when you're actually on the ice, skating needs to be the main emphasis, understanding your edges, working your feet, working quick feet, power skating. That stuff is so important, especially now in today's game.
Around the circle. Back up.
I wasn't pressured. Like, my dad never put pressure on me. My mother did not put pressure on me at all for any degree of hockey. So I'd say I was pretty self-motivated for the most part. My dad, he didn't get the chance to play when he was a kid and loved the game. So just seeing how happy he would get when I had a good game, or when I was working hard. So I never thought I was ever pressured. I thought I was pretty self-motivated, and I actually didn't realize how self-motivated I was until probably my 20s, when I actually started hitting a lot of perseverance, and realized that I do have the ability to push through and continue to work. And work ethic, something that isn't, you can't really teach work ethic, right? It's something that you got to have. So I started playing hockey when I was about 5 years old. I played for Aldergrove minor hockey up until around novice. After novice, then I went to the Burnaby Winter Club. My dad put me there because he thought I'd have a better opportunity. I really enjoyed the Burnaby Winter Club. We won Pee Wee B provincials, Pee Wee AAA. Had a pretty successful career there, with a lot of good athletes coming out of there. And after that, I ended up actually taking on to go to play back to Aldergrove to play midget first year. After that, went to the Fraser Valley Brooms, and then junior hockey kind of took over after that. I think you should probably get your kids skating. Like, I was skating when I was 5, so I think around 5, 6, 7 is a good time to get skating. The earlier the better, but you also don't want to push them, as I said previously. Pushing them is something that can make them resent the game. So making sure that they understand that it's going out there and having fun, and making sure that the coach understands that and they're not pushing them to that extent. I think a lot of the 6, 7, 8-year-olds, they just need to go out there and have fun, because you're not developing your skills until you're about 10, and you're not explaining that different stuff and actually understanding the game. So I think the most important years are actually after you're probably 10 years old, to actually develop those skills. But 5, 6, 7, 8, that should be about having fun, understanding the game, getting to meet people, and getting to understand you as a person, and if you actually like the game. Because a lot of kids end up being put in this, and I have kids who show up to the rink for me to do private lessons. They say they don't want to be there, and that hurts me, because obviously I want to coach them, and if someone doesn't want to be there, it makes it difficult for me to do that, right? So you can tell that that parent is kind of pushing them in a negative way. So you want to be careful to do that, and you want to make sure that your kid's excited to go to the rink. You'd rather your kid go once every 2 weeks and be excited than resent going once a week. So I think I would definitely try and be careful with that. In regards to shooting, skating, and gameplay, I think you definitely need to have the emphasis on skating. Like skating, especially nowadays, Cale Makar. Like that guy is just a phenomenal skater. He's only 20 years old, I think, and he's one of the best defensemen in the league. So I think skating needs to be very high emphasis. I have some players that train with me that they're playing ringette, but they're still skating, right? The puck skills come up later on. When you can stick handle a puck in the garage, you can do all that, the maintenance. And you can study the game watching film or doing stuff like that. But when you're actually on the ice, skating needs to be the main emphasis. Understanding your edges, working your feet, working quick feet, power skating. That stuff is so important, especially now in today's game. Kind of contemplating what I wanted to do with the rest of my life because I just graduated. Parents are asking me if I'm going to school. It was a pretty unique time until I got a call probably around, September 1st from Fresno, California. And it was the head coach, Bryce Dale. I answered the phone. He said, "Is Mike Nolan there?" I said, "You're looking for junior or senior?" Because my father's name's Mike Nolan. He said, "Well, I'm looking for junior, but I'd like to talk to senior." And he explained about his program and said that he watched me in Wenatchee and, he had a spot for me to come play down there and that he basically had, a life set up for me down there. So I talked to my mom, I talked to my dad, and I took my purple car and drove down to Fresno, California. And it was a unique time and some of the best times I've ever had.
Oh my, McDonald hits the ice, and now the Monsters will have a quick little charge here, shorthanded. And there's a shot and scored by Nolan.
At center, Mike Nolan will take it for a skate. Weaving intricate patterns through San Diego defenders. Now across the line, drops it off for a try. Score!
I think that at the end of the day, it comes down to preparation, work ethic, and making sure that you're a good person on and off the ice, because when scouts come up and talk to you, they're not just judging you as a player, they're judging your character, right? They want to see if you say please and thank you. They want to see if you're determined. They want to see if you're trying to showboat to them, right? They want good character guys who are good people and because they want to bring good people to their program, because once you go to a team, you're representing that head coach, you're representing that GM, and you're representing that franchise, right? So
the Monsters look to attack. Nolan's going to skate it in wide on the right side. On the bench side. Skates the net. Corner to corner. Up to Goodwin. Goodwin down to Nolan. Back to Goodwin. Fakes the shot to Reinberg. Reinberg down to Seto. Seto slides it over to Mike Nolan.
Back to Schroyer. Schroyer fakes a slap shot. Back down. Seto down low. He wraps around. Fakes it. Nolan will find Twine.
So when I went back for my second year, I was, excited. I knew the league, and I enjoyed where I played. And that's something that I think a lot of athletes need to understand, that if you're good enough, they're going to find you. And having comfort and enjoying where you're being can be more important than going to the best team or the best league. So my second year, I ended up finishing third in points. The team did very well. We made it to the semifinals, lost to the same team again, to Idaho Steelheads. So then my third year came. And I was, ramping up, and I had, different offers from different teams to go try out. And I just decided that I really liked where I was, and I set goals for myself that I wanted to lead the league in scoring, and that I wanted to get an NCAA scholarship. I also wanted to, make sure that our team had a good effort in the playoffs. So that year I went there with, head of steam. I decided that, at the last game of the season, it was, I was tied with a kid from Sweden at 114 points apiece. And I wasn't losing that. So I went into that game and I finished with 120, so that got the record for the year. And then somewhere along that during the season, I didn't even really know, but I guess I ended up breaking the points record for Fresno, as well as the goals and assists or something like that. So it was pretty cool. The guys actually surprised me with celebrating on the ice, which was pretty cool. And I had no clue at that time that I was even kind of going for that, because my mind was focused elsewhere. So but it was pretty cool, and I'll cherish that forever, right?
Which he wins to Dolman, and a good back pass ahead sends Nolan in on goal. Nolan scores. Mike Nolan puts Fresno back on top. A milestone goal for Mike Nolan, clearly, as his teammates all come out to congratulate him.
Yeah, I would definitely recommend the NCAA. When I went there, I had a great time. I went to the College of St. Scholastica in Minnesota. It was a great time. The difference between college and junior is now not only do you have to compete for a school, you're competing for your other athletes at the school, but you're also, having to study. So you're going to a school where, during the day you're going to hockey practice, and then you're coming home, you're eating, and then you're going to class for 4 hours. I actually worked, partly full time, right? I was doing about 10 to 20 hours a week the whole time I was in college, even as a freshman. So it definitely added a lot to it. But by, your first year of anything is going to be the hardest. So my first year was pretty difficult. But, after that, I started to grow and started to figure different things out, and I wouldn't change anything when I was there at all. So I would definitely recommend the NCAA just because the programs are awesome. It's very competitive, very high level. I played NCAA Division III, and, a lot of those schools are very, very well taken care of. Like, I got pretty spoiled at the school that I went to, and I got treated very well the whole time I was there.
Great moves by Cobby and Paquette. Able to keep the Monsters within striking distance here, and a shot score! Nolan.
We were a team that wasn't supposed to be in that position. We ended up just making playoffs. We played the first game and we beat the number 1 seed, which was massive. We weren't supposed to be doing that. We leaned heavily on our goaltending, and after that, we actually believed. So we ended up going into the second game where we ended up losing, but then after that, it goes into a mini game. So we went into a mini game for 1 period, and then that game got forced into an overtime. So we've played 5 periods of hockey here. We ended up losing, I think it was overtime or double overtime, but forever I'll cherish that as a hockey player because my last game in the NCAA was probably the best game that I ever ended up playing. Maybe not personally, but ended up playing as just a whole because there was so many ups, downs, different things that happened. It felt like 2 weeks when I was there in 1 game. So, I'd have to say that was my favorite on-ice memory. Off-ice, there's a lot of good times with the boys. So, maybe I'll keep a couple of those to myself for now. But, there's a lot of fun that happens in college. And, the sleigh was definitely a good time.
Michael Lengmo sent back deep. 15 seconds to go. Mike Faby in. Now here's an opportunity and a shot from the right point by Michael Nolan.
Yeah, so I just started playing professional hockey last season. It was my first year. I played in France for the Morzine Penguins. So when I was finishing college, you come to a roadblock if you want to get a job and kind of start the rest of your life, or if you want to continue and take the next step to go play professional. So because of the COVID year, a lot of places weren't hiring, so it was kind of a no-brainer for me to try and play hockey. So I started looking around and I actually found the Penguins and I said, wow, this looks like a really cool spot to play. Ski resort, get 2,000 to 3,000 fans a game. Seemed like they had a really good thing going there. So once I started talking to different agents, once I found the agent that actually had the connection there, it was a no-brainer to sign with him. I ended up signing with them late August with one of my friends one of my roommates from college. So he kind of helped out in that process, and when I got there, I loved it. It was everything that I thought it would be. Snowboarding resort, ski resort. So every day we'd practice, and then after practice we'd go snowboarding. Our coach was awesome. He was very supportive of us doing things away from the rink, and we basically show up to an intersport. You say you play on the Penguins and they give you a snowboard and they treat you very well. So I got treated like family there, except nobody spoke the same language as me, so that was kind of a bummer in that sense. But the hockey was really good too. I had a good opportunity to play there. The coach, utilized me a lot. He really liked, my work ethic and, my speed. So he made sure that I was getting a fair opportunity there. And, that's why he actually offered me a contract for the season as well. The culture aspect there was awesome. I got treated with great hospitality. I did know a little bit of French before. My French got a lot better there. I actually put the effort in to try and learn it. So a lot of the guys on the team really liked that I would try and talk to them in French because if you imagine if someone came here from France and, you know, they wouldn't try and speak English, it probably, you know, wouldn't resonate too well, right? So me trying to put the effort in and trying to speak to them in their own language, they really respected that. And I actually really enjoyed it because, you know, everybody's sitting there cracking jokes in French and I can't understand what they're saying. So I tried to, you know, make sure that, you know, by the end of this next season that hopefully I'm in on those jokes and hopefully I can understand what they're kind of saying. And it's definitely, you know, once it becomes a ski resort and around December, you know, a lot of English people come into the town. So you'll get people from England, you'll get people from Scotland, you'll get people from Ireland, and then it kind of gets taken over by the English people. So, you know, I'm just the Canadian ice hockey player around there. So the English definitely enjoy coming to our hockey games, and when I see them on the road or when we're snowboarding or something, they're quick to call out, you know, the Canadian. So it's pretty cool playing there, and I'm really excited to head back there. You know, they're definitely more east-west over in Europe, right? It's a lot more skill, not as much hitting. Where in, you know, in America, Canada, it's very straight line, take it to the net. So, you know, I would definitely say that over there it's a little bit more skillful. You do have a little bit more time, and they have a lot more patience, right? Which is something that I had to learn when I got over there, but near the end of it, I started to pick it up because I was always rushing things because that's the way we play over here, right? You want to put pucks on net, you want to drive the net, but over there it's not necessarily the same. In regards to culture, you know, when you walk into a hockey dressing room, it's the same. Every guy is going to be, you know, one of your teammates. So, you know, that was my, you know, my thing. I always say when you get to a team, you automatically have 25 new friends, right? And if they're not 25 new friends, well, you know, that's not a very good team, right? And the leadership needs to be, you know, understanding of that, and they need to make sure that the team is friends, because the closer your team gets, like anything, the better you're going to perform. So, you know, when I went over there, I got taken right in. Guys are taking me out, making sure that I'm taken care of, picking me up to go to the rink, all the above. So, you know, the culture in France was awesome. That's why I'm heading back there, right? I wouldn't be heading back if I didn't enjoy it. And especially, you know, in the States where I was playing, Canada, the culture is the same, right? You got good guys, you know, sticking up for one each other on and off the ice. And that was a major part of college, right? Because, you know, you're only at the rink for 1 hour a day for only 5 months of the year. So, you know, after that fact, you know, the leadership really needs to step in, and that's when, you know, you see a lot of the guys hanging out together and making sure that all the guys are at the same, you know, parties or whatever, and that does make the difference at the end of the day, I think, on a good team and a great team.
For Connor Hayden, and he just couldn't get it off the heel of his stick. Well, he had half the net gaping, but a tough angle, but they score anyways. It came to the slot, and Mike Nolan buries it. Finishes the clearance. Here come Fresno now, left wing side. Mike Nolan moving in, and he scores. Mike Nolan gives the... And then they turn it over again. It's Ingram cutting around a defender, had his stick lifted, gets it back, and scores.
A good coaching system's very important at the higher levels, because you need to understand different attacks, and you need to understand what type of team you have. Because if you have a team that isn't that fast, you wouldn't be running a 2-on-2, right? But if you want to sit back, so understanding systems is, you know, getting more important. You know, the older that I've gotten and the more that I've seen about the game, it's becoming a major part of the game. I think in regards to agencies and coaching, you know, as you get up the ranks, it definitely gets more important. You know, there's advisors for junior hockey. You know, they help you find different teams, and then they get you to college. You know, I have an agent for professional, right? And I would not be on the team I'm on today without an agent, right? So I think that they do play a major part in the game, and understanding that they're there to help the athletes, most of them, you know, with good, you know, ethics, and making sure that they're taken care of, and making sure that, you know, they're happy. So I think that stuff's a very big part of the game, and I think it's definitely becoming more part of the game the older that I've gotten. I think generally the best players are in the NHL, just for the mere fact that's the best league in the world. But there are guys that come in the NHL and they'll score goals and they'll have assists, but they don't understand the concept of the two-way game. And that's something that it was really difficult for me to learn when I went to college, because I was, you know, scoring a lot of goals in junior hockey, and then I came to college and I had to play defense because I wasn't the top guy. So, I think a lot of guys that do come up through the NHL and don't understand the positioning and don't understand the systems, even though they're scoring goals, it's a team game. And at that level, you're competing with the best guys. So if you make one little mistake, they'll make you pay. So I think generally the best players are playing in the NHL, but, the KHL has great players. A lot of these players leave the NHL as well too, right? But I'd say, the top end talent in the NHL, it is the best, right? And I think to play in the NHL is an absolute privilege. Best players today, Sidney Crosby. Come on. Sidney Crosby is my favorite player, and he's the best overall player. I mean, if you don't think that, then I don't know. I don't know what kind of game you're watching. So, but he plays, he's around the net. He can play the front on the power play. He can play the point. He can play the side. He scores goals from everywhere. He'll bat it in. He'll hit it in. He'll get breakaways. So, I think for the most part, Sidney Crosby is the best player overall. I think the best offensive player is Connor McDavid, right? So a couple Canadians, no surprise there. So Connor McDavid obviously is the most offensive gift, but Nathan MacKinnon is right up there as well. He's one of my favorite players to watch. You find it funny that him and Crosby train together, right? So competing against the best obviously is going to make you better, and it goes the same with competing against better players when you're out, right? If you're training with the best players, you're going to have to bring your level up because, everybody has that natural competitiveness where they don't want to get walked around.
All the way around the crossovers, okay?
What I'd say to a kid who's playing hockey and wants to get to a higher level is earn it. You got to go out there and you got to earn it every day, and you're not going to be the best player. I was never the best player on my team. And, once you get to that certain point of, everybody's going to start weeding off, and it's just going to be the hardest workers. And if they have the skill, awesome. But the hard workers will continue to rise up, and they'll continue to get, those looks. You need to make sure that you're working hard. You need to make sure that you're doing the correct things at the rink, away from the rink, to actually be a better player. So I would say work hard, and when other people aren't working, you should be. And if you really do love the game, it will pay you back in some sense, right? And a lot of people don't end up playing the game, but if you're good to the game, it'll pay you back, whether that's working for a team or helping with the team or being involved with the team. There's tons of ways to actually get involved with the game. I think that at the end of the day, it comes down to preparation, work ethic, and making sure that you're a good person on and off the ice.